This is an impulse that every boy wants to try. The weather is really hot. How much does it cost? You're only 16 years old. Faced with the girl's rejection, the boy didn't give up. He continued to search for new prey while running. He asked everyone, but no one dared to take his offer. The boy could only leave disappointed in the end. However, in a moment, another girl brought him back. The two of them walked into a hotel together, and the boy naturally completed it. His first experience in life. But he had money to do this. But he didn't have money to buy a can of $2 value. Moreover, this kind of theft was not the first time. But the boss always pretended not to see, and always looked at him meaningfully. This made Mao Mao's heart tremble involuntarily. But for this special day today, he could only silently apologize to the boss in his heart. So today is Mao Mao's birthday. But his only relative in the world forgot about it. Is it already the 8th? Happy birthday, son. Mao Mao knows how perfunctory this sentence is. After all, he always forgets. Although he has relied on his father since childhood. But he never pleases his father. Not only does he never mention his mother, he always compares him to his older brother. Your brother has never been like you. Why do you always mention him? What are you doing? At least read a book. The Psychology of Rebellion and Jealousy. It made Mao Mao take his hand off the book. He is always cautious. He just hopes to receive a little more love one day. However, reality is not as he imagined. So every time he feels disappointed, he always comes to visit Grandpa Zheng's shop. It can be said that Grandpa Zheng is his spiritual sustenance. But this time there was an accident. A celebrity came in to buy water after finishing filming nearby. Surprisingly, Genga sold it to her at a high price, contrary to his usual behavior. How much? 30 yuan, beautiful lady. Why is the water here so expensive? Beautiful lady, the water is not expensive. What's expensive is the real celebrity. The beautiful lady left with a smile after hearing that. I have to say, Genga fully demonstrated his emotional intelligence. Mao Mao, who was watching on the side, was dumbfounded. You really have courage. I have to make up for the money you stole from the canned food. Mao Mao felt extremely ashamed after hearing that. He wished he could find a hole to hide in immediately. But Genga not only didn't blame him, but also comforted Mao Mao like this. You don't owe me anything. If you must steal things, I hope you will keep stealing in my store. Although Mao Mao didn't understand the meaning of these words for the time being. But since then, he never stole anything again, changing with it. And his smile on his face gradually disappears. The boy comes to the same store to steal every time. But the boss always turns a blind eye. Not only does he not blame him, instead, he asks him to always keep smiling. What I mean is that a smile is the patent of happy people. You're wrong. It is a smile that can make you happy. Mao Mao says he doesn't believe it. But he tries it when he turns around. The effect seems to be very good. So when he encounters a difficult problem in class, he also uses this method to deal with the teacher. Okay, let me say it again. It seems that keeping a smile often can indeed bring happiness to people. But only his father doesn't buy it. He still points and criticizes him. Mao Mao, as usual, will run to the store after being sad. This place is like his spiritual sustenance. Grandpa Zheng will always patiently enlighten him, and give him positive encouragement. I like you 100 times more than your brother. For Mao Mao, this is undoubtedly the greatest comfort. Their relationship also began to elevate from this moment, and they agreed to go on an outing together tomorrow. One thing led to another. They seemed like a real father and son. However, the good times didn't last long. That night, Mao Mao suddenly heard some terrible news. His father was fired by the company. This news was undoubtedly a bolt from the blue. It added insult to injury for a family that was already not well off. What's even worse is that, when Mao Mao woke up the next morning, he discovered that his father was gone without a trace. He only left him a letter, and a few hundred yuan bills. His father's sudden departure and irresponsible attitude instantly pushed Mao Mao to the brink of collapse. But he didn't get angry. He just squeezed his father's hat to vent his frustration. They say that when God closes one door for you, it will also open a window for you. As expected. Depressed Mao Mao unexpectedly gained the love of the neighbor girl. He also struck while the iron was hot. He took the initiative to invite the girl for a walk by the clear lake. The two of them had an incredibly happy conversation. Even their feelings quickly heated up. They thought love had arrived. Who knew that a few days later, the girl would find someone else? Mao Mao couldn't help but question why. Little did he know, it resulted in a merciless slap. In that moment, Mao Mao felt abandoned by the whole world. So he started selling his books. And then he sought solace with a certain lady. Until all the valuable things in his house were sold. Only then did he calm down. As for how to live in the future, Mao Mao doesn't have the mind to think about it now. It can be said that when it rains, it pours. Mao Mao suddenly learned of an even bigger bad news. 16-year-old boy seeks momentary pleasure. He unexpectedly sells his assets to seek happiness. When he squanders all the valuable things at home, Mao Mao is completely dumbfounded. What surprises him even more is, the police suddenly visit that day, saying that his father was hit by a train in another city. Unfortunately, he couldn't be saved and passed away. Moreover, after investigation, the police determined that his father committed suicide. Therefore, he didn't receive any compensation. Upon hearing this news, Mao Mao instantly feels like his world is collapsing. Although his father was alive, he didn't fulfill the minimum responsibilities. But now he's gone. Mao Mao's mood is still incredibly heavy. Although he doesn't shed tears, Mao Mao turns his tears into longing and mourning. The immediate task at hand is to identify the body. But Mao Mao is afraid to face it. He is so scared that he runs straight into Grandpa Zhang's store. Considering his age issue, after discussing with the police, Genga will claim it on his behalf. Now Mao Mao has become a true orphan. No matter what he does, no one will say it's not. But one day, a woman suddenly visited, and claimed to be Mao Mao's mother. I am looking for Mao Mao. I am his mother. It's quite obvious. She can no longer remember her son's appearance. Even if Mao Mao is standing right in front of her, she doesn't have any impression at all. This feeling makes Mao Mao incredibly sad. But he didn't reveal the truth. Instead, he pretended to be Mao Mao's friend to brush it off. But just as the mother was about to leave, Mao Mao went to find his older brother. His older brother? Yes, his biological older brother. Mao Mao is my only child. Mao Mao only found out then. His father had been lying to him all along. The reason for doing so. I want Mao Mao to become better. Compared to his father. The mother who doesn't recognize her own son. No matter what, Mao Mao couldn't convince himself to acknowledge her. At this saddest and most difficult time, Mao Mao immediately thought of Grandpa again. Can you adopt me? As long as you're willing, I can do it anytime. Not lying. No. None. Mao Mao instantly revealed a bright smile after hearing it. Early in the morning, he hurriedly went to the relevant department to handle the procedures. But because Grandpa is from out of town, so the adoption process is very complicated. 2. To the extent that many staff members made excuses to avoid it. Fortunately, hard work pays off. Finally, after waiting in line for many days, they finally met a kind-hearted lady who helped them with the procedures. Then Grandpa took a long vacation for himself. He planned to take his new son back to his hometown to have a look. After Mao Mao bid a heartfelt farewell to the girls, I embarked on a journey back home with Grandpa Zhang. They traveled through mountains and rivers. They passed countless beautiful sceneries. They traveled for several days and nights. Finally, they arrived at their destination. But strangely, Grandpa Zhang unexpectedly asked Mao Mao to get off the car first. Why did he leave me here? Speak with your smile. I will be back soon. See you later, my son. However, no one expected that. Grandpa Zhang had a car accident on the way. His life is hanging by a thread now. Mao Mao held his hand tightly. At this moment, the feeling is even more sorrowful than when my biological father passed away. My journey ends here. No. Yes. I have arrived. I didn't know before. Where is the sea? All rivers eventually flow into the sea. At the last moment of his life, Grandpa Zhang still didn't forget to teach Mao Mao the principles of life. After he passed away, he left all his property to Mao Mao, including that store. Many years later, Mao Mao has grown up, but he has always stayed committed to this store. Unexpectedly, he also encounters a little boy who, just like himself back then, only comes to this store to steal canned food. And Mao Mao, just like Grandpa Zhang, turns a blind eye. The movie Mr. Abraham ends here. Let's take a moment to reflect. In our lives, perhaps we often encounter people like Grandpa Zhang. Although they may appear elderly, they are kind-hearted. Even though they know they are being taken advantage of, they always manage to wisely remind the other person. And Mao Mao's experience. Perhaps many people can relate. Although he never received love from his parents, he received it from Grandpa Zhang. He always, unintentionally, imparts his life experiences and wisdom to Mao Mao. This willingly given effort ultimately teaches Mao Mao how to give. If you are fortunate enough to encounter someone like this in your life, please be sure to cherish it extra. Alright, I am Sha Yu. Looking forward to our next encounter with you.